welcome to this edition of SAC News in Focus. I'm Andrew Lapp. My first guest today is Magdalena Soria, Associated Student Government Chief Justice. Maggie, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So you're the Chief Justice of ASG,
Correct.
which I think kind of confuses a lot of people because they think, Associate Student Government President, Vice President makes sense to me, but like Chief Justice, what is that going to do, right? So can you tell us a little bit about like what that job entails?
Well, basically, Chief Justice, I'm the chairperson of the judicial branch, which focus a lot in the Constitution, the bylaws, and civic engagement. So in a way, the Associated Student Government, they have to follow the Constitution and the bylaws. So that way, it's kind of like the checks and balance. So we're kind of the branch that makes sure that no branch is overpowering one another and that they're following according to the bylaws and the rules that we have.
That's interesting. That's actually something I would have thought that like a faculty advisor or someone would do.
Yeah, so they actually allow for the student to be able to be given that position. So that way it's fair since it's students serving students.
And it might be kind of obvious, but how did you get that position?
So I actually ran for it last year.
Okay, so it's an election process.
Yeah, correct.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What was that like?
So it was actually me versus me, so there wasn't really anyone running against my position, so it was pretty easy, but
that's a dream election.
But it was a position that I felt like really passionate about because I feel like civic engagement isn't really advocated within our campus. And so I wanted to bring more resources for students so that they're fully engaged, not only what happens within Santa Ana College, but within the community as well.
That's interesting. I remember talking to Teddy and Brianna last week, and I know in their races they actually did run against people, and I kind of got the sense that like maybe those are like the more like, in the spotlight positions. What do you think about that? Like, is like the judicial branch like, is that not as well known, and like what would you say about to people who don't know as much about it?
Well, I feel like the judicial branch is like probably really powerful within the Associated Student Government, but it's always undermined because you always think of like the legislative since they're running and making all the votes, executive, which is the president's there, so you would assume it's a powerful branch. But judicial branch is just as powerful as the other branches because you actually have to be the one making sure that rules are being followed, guidelines are being followed as well. So like I personally attend also exec meetings, so I make sure like I don't have a vote or a say, but I'm there to like be a guidance and to make sure that they're not only following like our Constitution or our bylaws, but like Robert's rules, and so to speak. Yeah.
Who's Robert for people who don't know? Maybe including myself.
So I guess Robert's rule is so like kind of like one of the parliamentarian like civic engagement that focuses on that, and so it's a guideline of how a government should be run and how like student government like what it is to be in student government and the certain like rules and positions that there are and the power as well. So it's kind of like a guideline for students that don't really know what it is to be like within the government.
And where's that? I'm sorry, I don't mean this to be like a quiz, but where does that come from? Is that like, is Robert someone who works here, or? No,
it's like bigger than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't even know about it either until I actually joined ASG, and they're like, Robert's rule. I'm like, who's Robert? And then like they kind of gave us some training within that as well.
Okay. So I have to ask, do you ever get to like bang a gavel and say overruled or anything like that? Do you ever get to like act in, do you ever get to act in like,
I get the gavel for like when I say call to order or like I end the meeting, but that's pretty much it. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself in like a more, I guess like what people might think of as like a judge position, like where you're overseeing like anything that could be viewed as like a trial or?
Basically,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay, what's that like?
It's pretty interesting because you kind of have to be like unbiased. You can't really put your own opinion within it, and you just have to like see and listen to both sides of the story, but at the same time, like what's going to benefit the students, so to speak. But we haven't really had anything where it's like, because I know we can get like the vice president or the president could get impeached. So that's where I would come in, and we would have like these kind of sessions to give them like the benefit of the doubt in a way. But we haven't really had anything that has to do with that, so.
No drama that big
No.
has gone down. What kind of things have you overseen, like in your tenure as Chief Justice? Like what kind of trial type stories can you tell us?
Well, we haven't really had anything that has to do with trial.
Okay.
So it's more like me ordering like the meetings and everything and kind of being the head of, so we have like certain events, and so I would be like kind of like the coordinator for that.
Okay.
And then for elections as well, like I'm the head of the committee.
Yeah, and elections are coming up, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that in our last few minutes?
So elections is April 29th and April 30th. They're both going to be at the same time, 9:30 to 12:30, as well as 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that way we're able to get students not only that are in the morning, but also in the afternoon.
Okay, so there's 2 different times for voting.
Yeah, and then 2 days as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for coming by, Maggie.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap up our time for now. We're going to take a short break right now, but stay tuned. We have the Interclub Council President, Mariano Cuellar, on SAC News in Focus. Coming up.
I chose Santa Ana College due to the fact that they do offer a lot of help for their students when it comes to the CTE program. If I do want to get certificates, so that's a great help.
Professors are here to like actually tell you like, hey, I'm here to help you.
The MESA program, they like lend me books for like my chemistry, my bio, and the learning center. They help me so much.
My favorite thing here is the people. I love the people here.
Welcome back to SAC News in Focus. Joining me now is the Interclub Council President, Mariano Cuellar. Mariano, thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
Interclub Council President, that's not a term I'd heard before a couple weeks ago. Do you mind explaining that to me?
Well, kind of just the basis of the Interclub Council. I oversee everything that goes on at the meetings, so I'm practically the one hosting them. I get a nice little gavel, all that good stuff. So what the Interclub Council is that every single organization on campus, or every club, if you will, sends out 1 or 2 Interclub Council representatives speaking on their behalf at these general meetings every single week.
Okay. And you oversee what that?
Yes, I oversee and I help them, whether if they have any paperwork questions or if they have any funding proposal questions or anything in general regarding to the organization or clubs. We at the ICC board are the ones to talk to.
Okay. And what do you guys, like what normally goes down at those meetings? Is it like funding requests, people putting on events?
So it's everything in between. So we do get a lot of funding proposals throughout the semesters, as well as all clubs that do actually want to do either events at Santa Ana College or the city of Santa Ana or wherever. They have to go through ICC and get it approved before they can do so, or before they can carry not only their logo as an organization, but the name of Santa Ana College as well.
Okay. And how did you get this position? I know it's all elections, but tell me about yours.
Well, believe it or not, before I became the Interclub Council president, I was an...
That's a mouthful.
It really is. I was an ICC representative for an organization on campus called Club Med at SAC.
Okay. Tell us just a little bit about that.
Well, our main goal or our statement was to provide kind of just a gist of how, you know, what to expect if we do go into the medical field, meaning doctor, nursing, psychology, or everything in between, or like public science or public health services as well. So that was our main focus, to help kind of just advocate for these positions or for these careers, so to speak.
And what made you want to go from being that to just the ICC pres in charge of everything?
Well,
maybe I just gave it away.
I was moreover, I wasn't voluntold. They didn't tell me. I was just moreover what I wanted to do, kind of just continue the stepping stones. Because before I was actually the ICC representative, I was just a general member.
Okay.
So kind of just stepping stones from general member to ICC representative to Interclub Council president. So it was just something that I wanted to do. More for not just for myself, but to give back to the community for everything they've done to me, and then just continue to advocate for all organizations on campus, because I started there as a general member of a simple club.
Awesome. What are some of the things that you've been able to do as ICC pres that you're like really proud of? Like, what have you been able to help the clubs out with?
Honestly, it's just moreover they can rely on us. You know, they can rely on us as the ICC board to help them with just a simple question or something complex as throwing on an event or a fundraising event as well. So moreover, it's not what, like, I can, or they can do for me. It's more of what I can do for you all, which I'm really proud of, and I really, really do hope that I can continue doing so my years at Santa Ana College as well.
That's excellent. What have you seen more of, like clubs that have been around for a while, or have you seen like a lot of new clubs come up?
You know, it's great that you asked that, because we've had a lot of clubs in circulation. Moreover, clubs that kind of just disperse throughout the semesters and then make an amazing comeback. And we've seen that throughout the semesters, not only last semester, but this semester as well. So it's moreover what you want to do. If you have a hobby, or if you want to do it as a main profession, we highly suggest just going out there and kind of just giving it all you got, and make sure kind of just grab your friends, band together, and make a club, and let them know that's you're here at Santa Ana College.
That's cool. What are some of the more interesting ones that you've heard of? Just from my own.
Well, let's see. We do have environmental club. You know, their main focus was just the environment, the sustainability of everything. They really do kind of just go out to Santa Ana, like around campus, and make sure everything's clean as well. They were there today at Sustainapalooza with Club Apple as well too.
Right. And what's your role in putting on those events? Do you help the clubs do that kind of stuff, or?
Yes. So mainly it's them, but we provide the proper information. So like, if we do, we'll stop by, we'll help out with any way we can, but it's mostly just up to them, as long as they're following all the standard regulations, because at the end of the day, you have to follow policies to make sure everything's going accordingly.
Right. So I would imagine, though, the big event that you do have like a little bit more involvement in is obviously Club Rush,
Club
right?
Rush, yes.
What's that whole thing like?
Well, that's more just towards the beginning of the semester. It's kind of just to advocate, knowing that you're here at Santa Ana College, kind of just going out there, making your statement, and then just trying to get as much more members as you can. Because at the end of the day, you want to have that you want to outreach to the students, because you are going to be a main proprietor here at Santa Ana College as well. So at the same time, what are you about? What is your statement? What can you provide to the community that is Santa Ana College?
Right. So obviously Club Rush, beginning of the semester, we've kind of, that boat has sailed at this point. But if someone's, hearing this interview and they're interested and they're like, you know what, that guy seems friendly, I want to talk to him about starting a club, what kind of steps do they need to take?
Well, first off, before you start a club, you have to follow the guidelines. You will need an advisor. Obviously, you'll need your president, your vice president. You'll need your secretary, your treasurer, public relations, and you'll definitely need at least 1 or 2 interclub council representatives. So that's just the main focus as to trying to start a club. Apart from that, everything will sort itself out. We do at ICC, we do have a deadline to turn in all the paperwork, with everybody being accounted for, being all positions filled, your advisors more than one, so you could actually get your facilities room and then actually start promoting yourselves as an official club on campus. We do provide all the information necessary. You can come talk to us. If you see us, stop on by. We're always happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Excellent. Where can people find you?
They can find us in the Village 108. That is the Office of Student Life.
Excellent. Mariano, thank you so much for coming here and talking to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. That's going to wrap up this week's edition of SAC News in Focus. We'd like to thank our amazing guests, Maggie Soria and Mariano Cuellar. Don't forget to catch our regular edition of SAC News, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We'll see you next time.